Hi and welcome to the Arcade Spawn channel. Today we're going to take a look at the Fancy LEDs HDMI 2.1 sync box. Now RGB TV backlighting is often seen in living room setups these days, but more recently we've seen rise to screen responsive lighting. These are especially great for gaming, but the kits on the market are typically HDMI 2.0, which means if you want to game in 4K, then 60Hz is the highest refresh rate possible. But this isn't the case here with the Fancy LED sync box, as it's HDMI 2.1. In this video I'll walk through what you get, how to set it up, and then dive into the features in a bit more detail. I'll close out with some thoughts and then hopefully help you decide whether this belongs in your setup. The Fancy LED sync box is a TV backlight that, once connected to a device such as your Xbox or PlayStation, displays picture responsive colour surrounding the TV. It will dynamically change the lighting based on the content that you're watching, and with it being HDMI 2.1 means you can game at 4K, 120Hz and enjoy an immersive lighting experience. The kit currently retails for £184 or $189, and I've got links to the website in the description if you want to go and check them out. I was sent this product to review, but in no way does that affect my opinions, and I treat my reviews in the same way as anything I buy. Everything you need to get up and running is in the box. There's the sync box itself, the LED light strip, 4 corner brackets, HDMI cable, the power lead, and some instructions. Obviously TVs vary in size, so you'll just need to select your TV size during the order process to ensure you get enough of the LED strip. Okay, so let's get this set up, and then I can shirk some responsibilities and do some game testing all day. First up, we need to attach the corner brackets near the edges of the TV. I really like how these brackets are flexible because, as you can see on my display, the lower part of the back is curved, but you just peel off the back and hold them in place for a bit. Before getting stuck in with the LEDs, you'll first need to decide which lower corner you're starting from. You can specify this in the app later, so at this point it's more to do with the sync box placement and cable management. Starting from the corner, work up and around the TV before returning to the start. There are clips on the corner brackets to help guide it around, and the LEDs are fixed to the TV using the 3M sticky back. Once done, you can trim off by cutting along where it says to do so. Yep, looks pretty tidy. Hooking up the box is really simple. Plug in your device to the HDMI in port, connect the HDMI lead from the out port to the TV, connect the LED strip to the sync box, and then plug in the power lead. I'm going to be using an Xbox Series X for my testing, and the display options are set to 4K and 120Hz with variable refresh rate enabled. Now admittedly, I'm not filming in 120Hz, so the frame rate isn't going to look anywhere near as good on camera as it does in reality. Almost ready, now we just have to download the app and run through a bit of setup. You can download the Fancy LEDs app from your phone's app store. Add the device, connect to your Wi-Fi, and just as a side note, it will need to be a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi signal. Sorted! So here's how it looks up and running. As you can see, the colours are super reactive and well matched. Once set up, you can use the app to adjust the lighting behaviour using the various modes, which I'll run through now. The main page is the Sync tab, which allows you to set your sync lighting preferences. First up is the brightness control, which sets how bright or dim you want it to be. Next is the diffusion mode, which determines how many colours are displayed at any time. Low displays a maximum of 4 colours, medium is 12, and high is as many colours as possible. Lastly is diffusion speed. This controls how fast the LEDs light up in response to a scene. A high setting will have a fast and more twitchy result, whereas on the lower end of the scale there'll be a more subtle shift between the colours. The scene page is where you configure the lights, and if you want to have them in a non-responsive, more traditional kind of way. You have various scenes in here to choose from, and you can customise the colour for certain scenes. The sound page is for when you want the light to react to sound, and there are various lighting patterns available for this mode. It's not something I can see myself using much, but I'm sure others will. Outside of the app, there's also the option to enable voice control, as the sync box is compatible with both Amazon and Google smart home devices. Finally, if you have any of the other Fancy LED products, such as the Fancy triangles, you can actually synchronize your color settings with those too, which is a nice feature to simplify and keep everything looking colour coordinated. A quick word on compatibility. The sync box works with all the expected games consoles and streaming devices, but I've put a list in the description of the ones listed on the Fancy LEDs website. Okay, so what are the key things I like about the sync box? Quite simply, the best feature is the fact that it's HDMI 2.1, which means 4K 120Hz gaming with no compromise on quality. It supports Dolby Vision, HDR, FreeSync, and the gaming performance is fantastic. I didn't perceive any noticeable latency. Games felt fast and responsive. It's easy to set up and everything you need is included. I like having the control over the diffusion settings, as I think that's a really subjective thing, so it's good that you can choose how you prefer the lighting to be handled. As someone who's a fan of clean, minimal setups, I really appreciate that this sync box does not require a set-top camera. It just keeps everything simple and tidy, and overall offers a much better aesthetic than the offerings with cameras. There are some things that can be improved, of course. The sync box only has one device input, and whilst maybe that's not a deal breaker, it would be great to see a sync box with more HDMI 2.1 inputs in the future. Obviously though, that would be likely to put the price up. The app doesn't have the option to save any presets for your sync lighting preferences. It would be great to have some custom preset slots, maybe for day and night viewing or for your preferred diffusion settings to suit your game or movie genre. In the scene mode, you can't display more than one colour as a static background. I'd love to see more colour options to give more choice with aesthetic ambient lighting. So final thoughts. This thing is a crowd pleaser and you don't have to compromise your gaming performance to enjoy it. It's priced well, performs well, and the end result is impressive and versatile. Gaming is where it shines, and the fact that you don't have to compromise on resolution or frame rate is huge. The sync lighting delivers an immersive experience and brings home the arcade vibe. So there you go, you can have all the RGB and all the gaming performance, and I highly recommend that you do. So if you enjoyed today's video or if you found it helpful, please give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more setup tech. Thanks for watching. Any questions, hit the comments, and I'll catch up with you soon in the next video.